Hello everyone, I am Burger, and I'm here to discuss a subject regarding One Piece, where I will be discussing a specific devil fruit owned by an utter pleb who is nowhere near using this devil fruit to its full extent, and I think the short-mindedness of this person is what really led to it being underused. The devil fruit in question is the Baku Baku No Mi, or the Munch Munch Fruit, which I think has incredible potential. Allow me to start with describing its abilities. It allows you to eat things, take on the properties of the things you eat, and also eat multiple things and spit them out in a combined form. The person who owned this devil fruit was the King of Drum Kingdom, and that would be Wapol. And he was pretty much a pleb. He didn't understand that the wealth of a country results in the wealth of a king. This is just common sense. Even Doflamingo knew this. But Wapol didn't. He thought that if he made his country poorer, it would make him richer. But that is simply not the case. Let's talk about what he did right. So, first of all, in combat, he did a pretty decent job. He ate objects and weapons and used them to modify himself to have built-in weapons. That's not terrible usage if you're fighting weak people, and at the time Luffy was relatively weak, so it worked pretty well against him at the time. He ate his allies and combined them so that their strength would be combined. If he had stronger allies and combined them, then that would be quite the fearsome ability. And finally, he ate himself and then spat himself out so that he could become skinny. I think he was onto something there, but he should have, made his body, combat ready or something like that. But he didn't do that. And after Luffy defeated him and sent him flying, he discovered that he could create a metal by accident. Some scientist was studying the toys that he had made by combining different toys that he ate. I think that's how it went. Anyways, it's not important how it was discovered, but he discovered, accidentally, that he could create Waffle Metal, as he called it. Very original naming. Just like the guy who did a bunch of discovering for electricity. Watt. Named it after himself. Anyways, Waffle Metal. It is a shape-retaining alloy that was so valuable that he was made a king. But I think that was very short-minded of him. He should have looked beyond being a king. In the One Piece world, there's much better things than you can be a king. And I'm going to get into just what I think he should have been right now. With his ability to create Waffle Metal, he shouldn't have been a king. I think he should have been an underworld broker that creates Waffle Metal and sold Waffle Metal to shady people, and he would have made a lot more money and lived in a lot more luxury with a life like that. However, that's not all. His ability to combine weapons and people is an extremely impressive ability for an underground broker as well. People could hire him to eat them and combine them to get strength, or he could just use those himself depending on what type of work he's using as an underground broker. So he could just hire mercenaries of sorts and eat them to combine them. But that's still relatively short-sighted compared to what else he could do. Let me offer you an idea right here. Think about the Vinsmoke power suits, like the one Sanji just got. I'm not sure if he's ever going to use it, but he currently has it. It's a pretty impressive piece of technology. Imagine if Wapol ate that, then ate some Waffle Metal, and then ate Nami's Climatact. This would allow him to perfectly combine those three objects. This would create a Vinsmoke power suit made of Waffle Metal that has the power to control weather. This would be exceedingly powerful. And therefore, as an underground broker, I think Wapol's best interest would be to collect rare pieces of technology and combine them in his stomach and spit them out for a much higher price. Triple, quadruple, quintuple the price. 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. A Vince Milk power suit that had the power to control weather? He could have eaten Bartholomew Kuma and Frankie and spit out the ultimate Terminator. There's so much he could do as an underground broker, creating rarer and rarer creations and weapons. He could have made so much more money if only he wasn't so short-sighted as to want to be a king. Now in combat, the Munch Munch Fruit probably has more abilities that we just haven't thought of yet. Like Luffy's Rubber Fruit is not that practical actually for combat. It's only his exceeding cleverness that allowed it to be useful. And of course, his strength and willpower that allowed it to work. So I think that Wapol would just be exceedingly rich if only he had looked further and been smarter about who he sold his Waffle Metal to and tried to combine even more creative things. So it's not a devil fruit that I think would be really helpful for someone who wants to be Pirate King, but an underworld broker, that ain't bad. And I think that would be a really cool story for a character that collects rare items the way Big Mom does, and then spits them out even rarer. That would just be really cool. And then I wonder, how far can his eating things work? Can he eat something indestructible like a poneglyph and combine it with a robot to create an indestructible poneglyph robot that has secrets carved in it? Is there any limit to the things he can combine? Because from what I can tell, there doesn't seem to be any sort of limit of the things he can combine. If he can combine a cannon and a cottage with the human body, I think there's nothing he can't combine. Who needs Frankie when he can just eat weapons and people at the same time and spit out cyborgs? Man, I have a problem with cannibalism, but if I was in the One Piece world, I would have nothing against murdering Wapol and eating his flesh so that I could get this power. That is the power that I would want the most. Well, with that thought on cannibalism, I'm going to end the episode. That's going to be for today, everyone. Bye!